Say that again, I'm sorry?
Yes, I thought the whole time about Stephen King.
Oh, absolutely. He was a huge influence on us in making the film. And actually, a movie that we watched again and again was Stand By Me, because of how natural and realistic that portrayal of those kids were, and obviously in his books. And Carrie comes to mind, obviously, but Stephen King is just a genius in taking things that are very grounded and small town and simple, and things get wacky and crazy in his world. So yes, Stephen King is a god to us.
Ihr müsst einfach gleich rausbringen. Wir sehen es echt ganz schlecht hier.
Speaking of the story, what do you think that the repercussions of this whole action in Seattle were? I mean, you guys basically destroyed the whole city and everybody was watching. Is this maybe a hint to a sequel as well?
Actually, we are developing a sequel, so yes, And coincidentally, none of the other actors live, so. But yeah, I guess there'll be a major cleanup in Seattle, but I think it'll be off screen, and we're gonna kind of go global with the sequel, and because he can't really go back to the United States probably and Seattle. He's kind of persona non grata at this point.
He's gonna become a monk in Tibet.
Hey, I don't know, maybe, could be. It's gonna be fantastic.
Because there are these two arcs in the film of the two main protagonists, and one sort of turns evil, and the other turns, well, not so evil. And I wanted to know personally, because you're acting as one of the characters, but as a person, did you more connect to your own character or to both characters? And I'd like to know, like, how it changed you to play this one. If it actually did change you, or did it just influence you in some way?
And was the first part of your question, did I connect with both characters? Did I connect with who I played and then also with Andrew?
What do you think of these, just how they develop? Because the film basically depicts them as real human beings, and not like airplanes here and Professor X or something. Yeah, you're not like real bodies.
Yeah, I think, I don't know how much playing Matt changed me. I definitely could identify with both characters and really feel for Andrew, and I cried when I read that in the script, and I did, and but I don't know how much playing Matt changed me, apart from I felt like it was a wonderful gift, and it made me a happy human being to be telling that story and to be playing that role. But definitely, I feel like Matt is quite far away from me as a human being. I actually felt it a huge challenge. I felt like it was quite a stretch for me to play him. He's very, I mean, I think basically Matt just has a solid, good heart from the very beginning, but he's just got immaturity and real insecurities and things kind of masking that and getting in the way of that. I think basically he would have ended up being a wonderful guy anyway, but the turn of events act as a catalyst for him growing up, and Matt sort of has to step up. Really, he has to grow up. Yeah, I think it's a. I don't know if it's like people have talked about, is it a coming of age type thing, and I don't think so. I don't think Andrew changes. So he doesn't have a huge arc in terms of growing as a person. He just sort of gets caught in those circumstances and doesn't have the maturity to deal with it. If you get me. Does that answer your question? I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Any more questions? We don't see it, you just have to talk.
Yeah. Can you tell us something about the thing in the hole?
All will be revealed in Chronicle 2, maybe.
Make Chronicle 3 as the prequel.
Yes. No, we wanted the whole. No prequels. We wanted the whole to represent something to everyone, and for people to be able to infer what they wanted to believe. But it was obviously something that changed these guys forever, and yeah. But we all have our thoughts, and I think each character had a different way into it in the making of the film. But we want you to think about it and believe in what you want to believe.
I have one more question, because the soundtrack is very extraordinary. You have David Bowie and all the great music. Who decided and who was working on searching for the soundtrack, and who made this decision? Was it teamwork or was it Josh's?
Yeah, listen, music was a really important part. It's an important part of young people's lives, and since there's no score in the movie, it's just sound effects. The source music, it was really acting as the score of this movie, so it was definitely very calculated and placed and thought about. And Josh has amazing taste in music, and we tried lots of different things, but each of those, we wanted new, fresh music, and it takes place in Seattle, so we wanted to reflect that. But all of those music cues really were meant to evoke a passion or a feeling in the film, in the scenes.
This works very well, especially in the scene with Andrew when he puts on his outfit to rap, and it's David Bowie. So at this moment, you know, now the movie is changing, and this was really very, very great.
I feel like that's the most cinematic moment.
Yeah. It's one of the coolest moments in the movie. Any more questions?
Yes, actually two questions, or one question for both of you. Do you have your background in superhero stories and in comic and novel form? So what made you, was this story or this genre new for you, or something you actually wanted to do the whole time, or are you very familiar with it?
Okay. I am actually, I've never been like a big comic book fan. Michael B. Jordan, who played Steve, is like a comic book nut. He loves it. But I haven't been. I appreciate them, but I've never collected them or anything. But I do love superhero movies. I'm a real sucker for superhero movies, actually. But what drew me to the project when I first read the script was just that I'd never encountered anything like it as an actor or otherwise. I just thought it was so unique and gripping and real, and I just thought it was such a special piece, and more to do with that rather than the genres that it sort of amalgamates, you know.
I'm also a huge fan of superhero movies. I haven't made one, but I felt like this was the kind of movie that I could really get involved with, because it was about character and it was about real people and story, and you kind of develop it through that way. So I'm a fan of comics, but not like a fanatic, but I do love them, and the superhero movies and the whole genre is definitely something that I'm excited about when they come out, but I never had the opportunity to do one on my own.
Thank you.
One last question.
Would you sing price tags? Again?
Would I sing price tag again?
It's not about the price tag.
We're probably going to get charged for that.
Wir sind jetzt gleich noch außen, die beiden signieren gerne, und thank you very much for coming. Thank you for not giving the movie with test screenings.
Dankeschön.
Der Film startet übrigens am 19. April in Deutschland. Danke.